You know that feeling when you're trying to grow something, like maybe a little plant from seed?
Hmm.
There are these moments, these really critical points where getting it right then, makes all the difference.
Absolutely. Timing is key.
But the tricky part, the real challenge, is knowing exactly when that moment is,
Hmm.
especially with, say, delicate little seedlings.
Hmm.
When do you move them from those starter trays to bigger pots? How do you know it's really time?
It's a common question. A bit nerve-wracking, even.
Totally. So today, we're going to do a deep dive into that exact mystery. We're looking at observations and research from Notes on Gardening, specifically Part 594. It actually gives some really good clues.
Right. And our mission really is to pull out those key signs, the practical things you can actually see your seedlings doing that tell you, okay, I'm ready. I need a bigger pot.
Yeah, we want to help you get that healthy growth and, avoid those little setbacks that can happen if you transplant too early or too late.
Exactly. We've all been there, wondering why a plant stalled after moving it.
Oh, yeah. So Notes on Gardening digs into this. It says
Hmm.
the problem often starts before the move because we miss the signs. Let's unpack this. First off, the basic issue, seedlings, whether it's something like Torenia Fournieri,
The wishbone flower, yeah. Pretty little things.
right, or even just peanuts. They grow fast. They outgrow those little trays very quickly.
They really do.
And they have to be moved for them to keep growing well. No way around it.
And what's fascinating here, what the source points out, is that even though the goal is the same, transplanting the signs that they're ready can be pretty different depending on the plant.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like Torenia's root signs are typical for many annuals with fibrous roots, but peanuts, they show stress differently, more related to water and just staying upright.
So you really have to observe each type, not just use a general rule.
That's the key takeaway. Specific observation, not just a calendar date.
Okay, so let's get specific then. Let's start with Torenia Fournieri seedlings. The source points to a couple of really clear signs. First one, roots starting to poke out of the drainage holes.
Mm-hmm. Classic sign.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. What does that really mean beyond just they need more space?
Well, it's a very clear signal the seedling is root bound, but more than that, it means the roots have pretty much used up everything in that little bit of soil.
Nutrients, water?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The source stresses it's not just physical space. It's like the plant is working overtime trying to find food and soil that's already exhausted. It's hitting a critical point. Some call it nutrient lockout starting to happen in that little root ball.
Wow, okay. So it's a serious stress signal.
Definitely.
And the second sign for Torenia, roots circling inside the pot. You might have to gently slide it out to see this one, right?
Right. And you'll see them forming a tight spiral.
And the consequence of that, just slower growth? Or is it worse?
It can really stunt or slow growth right down. The roots are basically, well, strangling themselves. They get so tangled and matted they just can't absorb water or nutrients efficiently anymore, even if there's some left in the soil. And interestingly, Notes mentions that sometimes, even before you see roots out the bottom, you might see a very slight discoloration on the newest leaves of Torenia, almost unnoticeable.
Really? Like what? Paler?
Yeah, maybe a bit paler. It's an early warning of nutrient stress, even before it's fully root-bound. Subtle, but it's there.
Okay, so Torenia gives us clues below the soil, mostly, or maybe very subtle leaf changes. But now, let's switch gears to peanuts. They're quite different, aren't they? Their signals must be different too.
Totally different. And Notes on Gardening really uses this comparison well, showing how a plant's basic structure and how fast it grows dictates how it tells us what it needs.
Right, different languages, sort of.
Exactly, if we learn to read their specific language.
So for peanuts, what's sign number one? The source says they start drying out way too quickly. You find yourself watering much more often.
Yeah, that's a big one for peanuts.
Why does that happen so fast with them?
It's because that root mass grows really dense really quickly, and it basically pushes out the soil, or at least squashes it. You lose the air pockets, the spaces that hold water.
Okay.
So the roots take up most of the room, and there's just not much left to hold moisture. So, poof, it dries out super fast, puts a lot of stress on the plant.
Got it. And building on that, another sign for peanuts. You water it, and the water just seems to pour straight through the bottom drainage holes almost immediately.
Right, like it doesn't even pause.
It's not soaking in.
That tells you the root ball is just too dense. It's so tightly packed with roots. It's almost like a waterproof block in the middle. Water hits it and just runs around it and out the bottom.
So the plant's still thirsty, even though you just watered it.
Precisely.
Okay, then there's a physical sign. The peanut seedling gets unstable, like top-heavy and tends to fall over.
Yeah, it can literally just flop to the side.
It seems like it shouldn't happen, but why does it?
Well, think about it. That soil, which is now mostly roots, is super compacted. It can't physically anchor the plant properly anymore as the top gets bigger and heavier.
Ah, the support structure is gone.
Exactly. It's lost its anchor, which, isn't good, can even damage the stem.
Right. And one last sign for peanuts. Yellowing lower leaves. That sounds pretty common for stressed plants, doesn't it?
It is, but this raises an important question. What's it telling us specifically in this root-bound peanut situation?
Okay.
It's classic nutrient deficiency, chlorosis. Because it's so root-bound, the plant is really struggling to pull up the nutrients it needs from that small, exhausted bit of soil.
Makes sense.
And the lower leaves yellow first because the plant is smart, in a way. It sacrifices the older leaves and sends any nutrients it can absorb up to the new growth at the top.
Prioritizing survival.
Pretty much. It's a clear distress signal.
So, okay, putting this all together. Torenia, peanuts, different signs, but the same basic problem.
Right.
They need more room. What does this all mean for you, the listener, trying to grow these things?
Well, it means you're not just guessing based on how many weeks it's been.
Right.
You now have specific things to look for. Actionable knowledge. You can observe your plants, see these signals we talked about, roots out the bottom, circling roots, drying out fast, water running through, instability, yellow leaves.
Depending on the plant type.
Depending on the plant, exactly. And you can interpret those signals and act when the plant tells you it's time. That way they thrive. They don't just, struggle along.
So you're actually nurturing them based on their needs, not a generic schedule.
That's the core takeaway, I think. Successful transplanting isn't about a date on the calendar. It's about really seeing what your plants are showing you, these subtle, specific signals.
It's about learning their language.
Yeah, perfectly put, learning their language.
And, that makes me think. It's not just plants, is it? These plants are sending clear physical signs about their needs. Roots, water, stability, color. Makes you wonder, what other signals are out there in our, daily lives, our work projects maybe? Things sending out clues, maybe quiet ones, that we often overlook.
That's a great thought.
Signals waiting for us to just pay a bit closer attention, understand what they really mean, before things get root-bound, so to speak.
Yeah. What are the yellowing lower leaves in other parts of our lives? Interesting thing to ponder.